So that's what the situation was. Like, you trying to come over here. I ain't had to do nothing or say nothing.
Yella Beezy is in the news after a big revelation about the murder of his rival Mo3. Reports say Beezy was charged with paying someone to take Mo3's life. But what is even more shocking is that his own words may have given away some scary details about the crime. In this video, we will look at what Beezy said and find out the real reason he may have wanted Mo3 gone. Let us get into it. Yella Beezy's name is everywhere after his arrest for planning the attack on Mo3. But now, an old interview has come out, and many people think he may have unknowingly shared hints about the murder before anyone even knew the truth. In the video, Beezy talks about a shooting that happened in 2020 involving Bowie. He said the situation happened because Bowie went into a place he was not familiar with and tried to take control. He suggested that even if he was not the one who planned it, there were bigger reasons behind what happened. Yella Beezy said that after Beezy was attacked, his crew might have reacted with violence and taken matters into their own hands. He explained, "You come here, I do not have to do anything or say anything. I do not even know what is happening with that." Before Beezy was shot in Dallas, there was already a lot of tension and old rivalries in the air. Beezy was a well-known name in hip-hop, and he had traveled to Dallas to attend a vigil for Mo3, who had been shot and killed only a few days before. Mo3 was Yella Beezy's rival, so when Beezy showed up in Dallas, especially in a place he was not familiar with, many people saw it as a bold and dangerous move. Later, Beezy suggested that Beezy trying to make his presence known in a new area may have been taken as a challenge by local people. He even gave an example of how going into a rival's area after arguing online can make someone a target, even if no one planned it. He explained, "Something happens to you, and I go on the internet and say, 'Oh boy, I am coming.' Then I go to one of your stores in your area. I do not have to do anything or give any orders." The rap scene in Dallas was already full of problems, with different groups fighting over respect and power. Beezy arriving at the wrong time only made things worse. People still do not know the full reason behind the shooting, but many believe it was because of the ongoing conflicts in the city. Beezy's decision to step into such a risky situation ended up leading to something very dangerous. Beezy was hurt in the attack, and the news spread fast. Fans and other artists shared their concerns all over social media. Beezy was shot in the leg and was quickly taken to a hospital where he got treatment. Thankfully, he survived, but Yella Beezy believed Beezy knew exactly what he was walking into. Beezy said, "I do not even know what is happening with that. You understand what I am saying?" But he knows. He knows the truth. Beezy's words only made things more shocking. Many people started wondering if he was trying to take attention away from himself and his possible role in the ongoing rap rivalries. But now, with this old interview coming back, fans are putting the pieces together, and more people are asking questions about Mo3's murder. Could Beezy's words about Beezy's situation also reveal something about what happened to Mo3? Some people believe that just like Beezy, Mo3 put himself in danger by going into a place where tensions were already high. If Beezy's crew reacted fast when Beezy entered their area, who can say they would not do the same thing when Mo3 stepped into their space? This has made many fans think that Beezy may not have even needed to give an order. The streets already knew what to do. The problems between Beezy and Mo3 were no secret, and some people believe Mo3's death was another case where Beezy's people acted on their own, without him having to say anything at all. Yella Beezy's shocking interview from 2024 brought fresh attention to the investigations into Beezy's shooting and Mo3's murder. As people started talking about the case again, police and investigators increased their efforts to find out the truth behind the violent events that shook the Dallas rap scene. Beezy's words put him back in the spotlight, making investigators take another look at old evidence and search for new clues that could explain why these attacks happened. As the investigation continued, some important details started to come together. Police worked hard to create a clear timeline, connecting different events and the people involved. Witnesses were questioned again, and security camera footage from the crime scenes was carefully checked for any details that may have been missed before. The goal was simple: to find out who was responsible and to understand the full story behind the violence. After months of deep investigation, the hard work finally paid off. Investigators found strong evidence that proved Yella Beezy was involved in planning the attack that led to MO3's murder.
So that's what the situation was. Like, you trying to come over here. I ain't have to do nothing or say nothing. Like, I don't even know.
The murder of MO3 on November 11, 2020, shocked the entire Dallas community. He was a rising star, and his life was taken in a cruel and violent way. Police reports say that the 28-year-old rapper was driving on Interstate 35 in South Dallas when another car pulled up beside him. The driver, identified as Ken White, got out of his car holding a gun. Seeing the danger, MO3 jumped out of his vehicle and tried to run, leading to a terrifying chase on the highway. White then fired several shots, hitting MO3 and ending his life. The investigation into MO3's murder was long and difficult. Police officers worked day and night to put the pieces together and find out exactly what led to his tragic death. In the days after the shooting, law enforcement launched a huge search for Ken White. He was identified through witness reports and security camera footage. This footage later became very important in court. It showed the shocking moment when White chased MO3 on foot along the highway before firing the deadly shots. The scene was heartbreaking, and videos of the incident spread quickly on social media. Many hoped MO3 would survive, but despite all efforts to save him, doctors could not do anything. He was officially declared dead, leaving fans and loved ones in deep sorrow. As the investigation continued, police found more evidence that proved Ken White was involved in the murder. A test on the bullet casings showed they came from a gun linked to White, making the case against him even stronger. Phone records also placed White near the crime scene at the exact time of the shooting, which supported what the investigators had already discovered. Witnesses also stepped forward with important details, helping police build a clear picture of what really happened. For people who loved MO3's music and energy, White's arrest felt like a step toward justice. Fans flooded social media with their emotions, sharing his songs, memories, and heartfelt tributes to keep his legacy alive. His family, though thankful for the progress in the case, continued to suffer from the deep pain of losing a beloved son and father. At first, it seemed like justice had been served, but as investigators kept digging, they found something even more shocking. While White was the one who pulled the trigger, he was not acting alone. Someone had given the order for MO3 to be killed, and that person was Yella Beezy. The news of Beezy's arrest left everyone in shock. A Dallas County grand jury charged him with capital murder for payment. This meant that police had found evidence suggesting Beezy had planned the attack and paid White to carry out the deadly shooting. The indictment revealed shocking details, stating that Beezy had allegedly offered money to White in exchange for MO3's murder, making him a key figure in the tragic events of November 11, 2020. With such serious charges against him, Beezy's legal team is most likely working hard to defend him and prove his innocence. However, details about the lawyers handling his case have not yet been shared with the public. Fans of both Beezy and MO3 are struggling with mixed emotions. The legal case against Beezy has gained massive attention because capital murder is one of the most serious crimes a person can be accused of. If he is found guilty, he could spend the rest of his life in prison or face even harsher punishment. High-profile cases like this put a lot of pressure on the justice system to handle everything fairly and reveal the full truth. The media attention and public interest in this case make things even more complicated. People who might be asked to be jurors could be influenced by what they hear or see in the news. Judges and lawyers need to be very careful, making sure the trial is fair while also being open about the facts. For Yella Beezy and everyone else involved, this case could change a lot. An indictment like this can seriously affect how people see an artist. It can hurt their reputation and their career, as fans might stop supporting them. This could lead to fewer record sales, lower concert attendance, and a smaller influence in the music world. This is not the first time Beezy has been involved in violence. In 2018, his car was shot at over a dozen times while he was driving on the Sam Rayburn Tollway in Louisville, Texas. He was very lucky to survive the attack, only being hit by a few bullets, one of which almost hit his heart. The shooting came after his song, That's On Me, became a big hit. Some people believe that the shooting might have had something to do with his growing fame or a possible disagreement with other local rappers. Beezy never publicly explained what happened, and no one was arrested for the shooting. However, it seems like Beezy may have looked into the incident himself, possibly believing that MO3 was involved. This might explain why their rivalry turned into something more dangerous, a plot to have MO3 killed. At the beginning of their careers, Yella Beezy and MO3 were often seen at the same events and venues, both trying to make it big in Dallas' tough music scene. At first, they had mutual respect for each other, both working hard to reach their dreams. They were often at the same clubs, and there seemed to be a sense of friendly competition between them. However, as both became more popular, rumors of rivalry started to grow. Fans and people in the music world started comparing them, which only made the competition between the two artists stronger. Both artists wanted to be the best, and this led to little digs at each other through their music and social media. As the rivalry between Yella Beezy and MO3 grew, it became a huge spectacle for fans and the media. The tension between them was no longer just a quiet competition, it was now out in the open for everyone to see. Their music became a way to fight back, with both rappers using their songs to insult each other. MO3's tracks were filled with sharp criticisms aimed at Beezy. The rivalry between Yella Beezy and MO3 quickly turned into something bigger than just music. They started throwing insults at each other on social media, and their fans couldn't get enough. Every post or comment seemed to make things worse. What once seemed like a friendly competition soon became a deeply personal fight. Both artists wanted to prove they were the best, and as the tension grew, it became more than just words. It became a dangerous game. Things got even worse in 2018 when Roy Pate, a close friend of MO3 and a comedian, was tragically killed. He had spoken out against Yella Beezy, questioning his connections to Oak Cliff. His death shook the Dallas community, and many people believed it was connected to the feud between Beezy and MO3. This made things even more complicated, with some thinking Roy Pate's death was a warning, showing just how dangerous the rivalry had become. The death of Roy Pate made the feud even more serious, pushing it into a more dangerous place. A rumor also began to spread that the rivalry started over a woman. While it may or may not have been true, the rumor only added to the drama, making the public even more interested in what was happening. As if things could not get worse, the rivalry also led to legal problems. In January 2020, MO3's manager, Brandon Rainwater, filed a lawsuit claiming that Yella Beezy and his crew had attacked him at a Dallas strip club. The attack left Rainwater with a dislocated hip. This incident was just one example of how the law became involved in their feud. With everything happening in the public eye, fans and the media closely followed every detail. All of these events set the stage for the sad death of MO3. After his passing, interviews with both Yella Beezy and MO3 took on a new meaning. Yella Beezy often downplayed their rivalry, saying in a 2024 interview that there was no point in acknowledging MO3, even after his death. He said their relationship had no real issues, even though the public saw things differently. MO3, on the other hand, had a different view of their relationship, and his perspective on the feud made the situation even more complicated and tragic. In a 2019 interview with Vlad TV, Yella Beezy addressed the rumors about his feud with MO3. He denied that there was any real problem between them. He said, "Ain't no rap beef, ain't no problem, man," and explained that the tension between them was mostly based on gossip in the industry. He emphasized that there were no personal issues with any other rapper, suggesting that the rumors were simply created by people outside of the situation. However, after what happened next, fans and the media went back to these comments. Some thought that Yella Beezy's words were a way to hide deeper problems, while others believed that MO3's denials were his way of downplaying a situation that had already gotten dangerous. The death of MO3 deeply affected his family, fans, and the entire Dallas rap scene. Born on May 31, 1992, MO3 grew up in Oak Cliff, a tough neighborhood in Dallas where he faced many challenges, including poverty and violence. Despite the hardships, he found a way to express himself through music. Influenced by Southern hip-hop artists like UGK and Lil Keke, he started rapping at a young age. He used his music to tell his life story and speak about his struggles. Mo3 faced a lot growing up, including the loss of his father and his mother's battles with addiction. Through it all, he turned to music to deal with the pain and share his experiences. Mo3's music was raw, emotional, and real. It blended hip-hop with blues, which made it stand out. His music spoke to fans who saw him as an honest voice from the streets. In 2019, his song Everybody became a big hit in the region, and this helped him get more recognition. He worked with famous artists like Boozy Badass and Kevin Gates, securing his place in the Southern rap scene. Sadly, his life was cut short before he could enjoy the full rewards of his hard work. His death is a tragic reminder of what could have been: more music, more success, and a brighter future if the rivalry with others had been put aside. Whether Yella Beezy was directly involved in Mo3's death is still to be decided in court. Sadly, this case is not the first time that a rap feud has gone too far. Rivalries in rap music, especially in drill and street rap, often start small but can quickly grow into much bigger problems. One such rivalry that turned violent was between Troy Avenue and Tax Stone. It began with insults and social media jabs, but things took a dangerous turn in 2016. Troy Avenue, a rapper from Brooklyn, had a public feud with Tax Stone, a well-known podcast host. They took shots at each other for months, and their tension reached a breaking point on May 25, 2016, at a concert in Irving Plaza, New York City. What should have been a fun night of music quickly turned violent when a backstage argument turned into gunfire. The crowd was thrown into chaos as gunshots rang out. Troy Avenue was seen on surveillance footage firing a gun, claiming he acted in self-defense. This incident led to his arrest and changed his career forever. It also showed just how quickly a rap rivalry can turn deadly. He was attending a nightclub event in Harvey, Louisiana, where C-Murder was performing. During the event, a violent fight broke out and Thomas was beaten and shot. He later died from his injuries. C-Murder was arrested in connection with the death, and the case quickly became a major story in the media. The prosecution argued that C-Murder was involved in the fight that led to Thomas's death, with witnesses claiming to have seen him hit Thomas and be there when the shooting happened. The defense, however, said that C-Murder was innocent and being unfairly targeted because of his fame. The trial had many twists and turns, with conflicting testimonies and claims of jury misconduct. Despite the challenges, C-Murder was convicted of second-degree murder in 2003 and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The verdict left people with mixed feelings. Some believed justice had been served, while others questioned whether the trial had been fair. C-Murder's legal team kept fighting for his release, appealing the decision and asking for a new trial. In 2009, the Louisiana Supreme Court agreed with the conviction, but C-Murder's supporters continued to stand by him, including his brother Master P and even reality star Kim Kardashian, who called for the case to be reviewed. Sadly, no changes were made, and C-Murder is still in prison at the Louisiana State Penitentiary.